Either way, is like ngathi ngile ncosi le evaya ema-big house nagrot thina siphuma emaforumini lezi ziyadlala zine-swimming pool kubo ama-fence okubo made kunezinja unokubona ispace nyana segate uyaqoba laphana baphila kamnandi abantwana bakhona bayadlala e-swimming pool bayabhampa laphana kuma-trampoline wena uyazi ukuthi elokishini azikho zonke ridings. You know what you know is ngey-1 zikaSeptember sithelana njengamanzi.
Sure. What's up, everyone? It's the virtual Mkhukhu again on a Monday. It's your boy Penuel, the Black Pen. As you guys always know, please don't forget to click on the subscribe button. Don't forget to click on the notification bell. We appreciate all your love, all your support. Siyantanda bafowethu. It's the virtual Mkhukhu on a Monday. As Usbuda would always say, Mkhukhu was sipagapagini. Spagapagini. My Zulu bundles are chucking bafowethu. It's pagapagini. How cheers. From this way to the other side before we'll introduce him a bit later on in the show, but then as you always know, DJ Spooda Wabatwada.
Mr. Penuel.
How are you doing? Did you have a good weekend?
A very good one, but literally.
Sure.
As I was telling you that today the weather is so beautiful in Joburg. It's when I woke up this morning, I was like, it's such a good weather to take the kids to Sun City.
Yeah.
Just
we need to appreciate it.
Just drive and go play with the kids for the weekend, you know?
Sure. And the autumn is on again, and next thing we have winter, so we need to cherish what we have right now in terms of weather. Umonde, though, comes from Add More Digital, which is a company that he runs with a partner of his who's going to be joining us a bit later. But officially, to welcome him before we get on to the affairs of the day, Monde, welcome, Fetunjan. Please, can you just introduce yourself to all the virtual squatters, what your company does, and this space that we're at, Uti Tumengan.
All right, cool. So my name is...
A bit closer, maybe on the mic, thank you.
So my name is Tshimologong, and I come from a company called Add More Digital. So we're basically a digital solutions company. So anything that needs a solution created, such as websites, web applications, UI, UX design, even just basic graphics, we're the people for you. Yeah, so basically this space, we came across this space a few years ago, and we were told that they had sports for different types of companies. So we spoke to the main guys here, and they let us know that no, we were able to actually have our company hosted here. So we did that, and then so just, can I rephrase that?
No, please feel free, bro. This is not a formal anything. Please feel free. Tell people where you're from. Greet people from home. Tell us about your business. We're here for you.
All right, so.
Sure. What's your full name?
Chibulomonde. So just to track back, I'm actually Zambian.
Welcome to South Africa.
Yeah, thank you, yes. So our business started like this. I come from a website and web application development background.
Okay.
And my partner Stanley comes from a UI UX development background. So we worked on a project together, but we didn't know we were working on the same project. And then when we realized later on that working on the same thing, we decided to say, you know what, we've been working on the same thing for the longest time. Why not, put this together and just make it great, as opposed to having it work individually. And that's how we became co-founders of Add More Digital. So it's been 3 years, give or take, but it's been 5 years, 3 to 5, plus the COVID years, obviously. So it's been a bit of a tricky journey, obviously, there and then, but we've made a lot of progress. We've learned a lot, and it's been amazing in a nutshell.
Jeez, Monde, thank you so much, bro. Where are you from in Zambia? When did you get here? And you mentioned something about UI, UX. I don't know if that's something Stan is going to take us through. So for people that don't know what that is.
So I'll give you the basic explanation of UI, UX. It's basically UI is for user interface, and UX is for user experience.
Okay.
So basically, it's what you would see before you actually go into an application, or the feel and look of an application or website or basic design.
Okay.
But that's something Stanley will break down better, because it's what he does.
No problem. Where are you from in Zambia? When did you get to South Africa?
So initially I got here in 2012. I came here for school.
Yeah.
Yes, I attended Boston City campus in Orange Grove, the main campus.
Yeah.
I'm from Lusaka, Zambia.
You're from the capital city?
The capital, Lusaka.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's solid. Thank you so much. Sbuda.
No, I just wanted to first start by giving these guys props.
Yeah.
They're out in the Newtown precinct, Newtown Junction. They're a jewelry company, artistic luxury. It's TMDS Africa. And they gifted me with a beautiful bracelet. And they say it's a lucky charm type of a bracelet, African bracelet.
That's beautiful.
The guy's an entrepreneur as well, and he's also a designer. He says he fixed this gift up just around COVID in 2020. And he says he's been expecting to meet me since then. So I kind of felt, let me bring this piece at this episode, on today's episode, so I can shout out his jewelry company as well. They're based upstairs in the Newtown precinct. This one, he basically custom makes them. See, this one is written Hustler.
That's too dope.
So I thought, let me just
Very
rock
nice.
this one here on camera. Yeah, I'm fresh. This is nice. Yeah, this is really nice. So thank you very much, bro. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the gift. And let me just read. There was a note here that they put on. TMDS, artistic luxury, dare to be. When a new day begins, dare to smile gratefully. When there is darkness, dare to be the first to shine the light. Just like the guys at Edmore Digital are shining the light here in the city of Johannesburg. Shout outs to the team and Mr. Steve Maraboli out in Newtown Junction upstairs. We appreciate you guys and congratulations to everyone that's doing their thing. We do know that it's not easy, guys. I'm also a founder. Founded a couple of things in the past, and I do know how difficult it is to build from scratch, to build from the beginning. Only a few people will believe in what you're doing, but you don't stop, you keep it moving. You're gonna go through a lot of hurdles. Sometimes you're gonna feel like giving up. It's gonna be extremely, extremely, extremely tough. But I always say to people, it's a long road, but it's all worth it in the end. I'm 9 years deep with one of my startups, Minamanje, but I feel like it's so worth it. But if I knew what I know now, I probably would have been so scared to even start. I've gone on to do some of the most difficult things I've ever had to do in my career. So I feel for you, all of you starters, founders, visionaries, pioneers out there. But it is your time right now. There's no moving back. There's no going back. We are marching forth and we're making this thing happen. So I'm excited to be at this tech hub in Bram. The first thing I want to ask is, I do know the tech industry is booming in Kenya. I do know there's a lot of guys that are doing incredible work in Rwanda as well.
Yes.
I want to know, coming to South Africa and studying at Boston, I'm sure you wouldn't have thought to have gotten into tech a few years later, because we know Boston Media House is a media house.
Yes, famously known as their media house. So it's something I ended up picking up towards the twilights of my high school, because initially I wanted to be an accountant. So I ended up developing an interest in the IT space, which was mostly came because I used to play a lot of games, FIFA to be exact.
Of course.
Yeah, you know, manager
Entryway drug into tech.
You know what I'm talking about? Late nights, fighting with your brothers because now you want to be on the PC the whole time. You're waiting for your transfer window to come in so you can sign that free agent. You understand? So it's all those issues that came. So when I got here, I decided to sign up for an IT course, which was a Microsoft Certified Solutions Developer. So essentially that just enables me to create solutions for people, but in the digital space.
How's the journey been though?
Initially, it was a bit tough, obviously, as you know, most things start, but because I liked what I did, or what I was doing at that particular time, it became easier. It's made me learn a lot, improved my thinking in terms of solution, being solution orientated, because I reached a point where I could look at something, I was like, no, this would take too long. Let me find another way to sort out this. So instead of taking 5 days, I find a so-called shortcut and do it maybe within 5 hours. And that was something I was able to apply with the projects I had to do going forward.
Looking at this hub, as I was saying that, many years ago, I used to party here quite a lot. It's beautiful to see how they've transformed it. You've taken us on a trip, on a journey. We've seen what the animation guys are doing, what the gaming guys are doing, what the artistic guys are doing, what the blockchain NFT guys are doing. There's actually all sorts of different dynamic artistic or creative entrepreneurs that are housed in this space. But how is the tech industry in South Africa?
Honestly speaking, I think it's going very forward. Obviously, you wouldn't exactly compare it to countries like Kenya or Rwanda and so forth, because I think the focus here is a bit more intense as it is as opposed to here. I think there's a bit more diversity in regards to a lot of things here, like even the arts and culture here. I think it's on a different level as well, but things like tech here are definitely moving in the right direction.
Nice. And Add More Digital, I know Penyo did ask earlier, in simple layman terms, I'm just an ordinary person, Jay. What does your company do? Add More Digital, Nenzad.
Sure.
So Sienzama websites, web applications, we sort out your hosting. So imagine you want a customized email address as opposed to having a monday@gmail.com. People don't exactly take you seriously. So for you to have that credibility as well, that proper digital presence can help you do that. So the primary target has usually been the SMEs. So if you look at any company that's starting up with the way the world is going now, we all need a digital presence. Even for one to be considered seriously, someone has to have a digital footprint. So we're at the very entry point where someone comes in, needs basics, all those letterheads, graph emails, addresses, company profiles, even a simple social media page. We assist with all of those things. So not only do we just give that, we sit down with a client, ask them, what is it they're trying to achieve with their product? If they're the only people sorting out that, and what is the difference between them and them? So we basically poke holes into them and give them advice. So that's why we add more in it as well. It's not just basic consultation. We go beyond that.
Before I give it back to Penyo, for the squatters and the hustlers that are watching now, can they go to your website now as they're watching you and see what you guys do? And what is your website?
Yes, our website is www.admoredigital.co.za. Add more, 2 Ds and more, one word.
So that Add More Digital.
Exactly.
MORE, ne?
Yes.
Oh, not low more fire.
No, no fire.
Add Mo.
No fire.
Add Mo.
Yeah.
No, thank you so much. Look, here's a teachable moment. Many times, myself included, thinking of websites, you think of these big companies. I need to make a lot of money. I don't need a website. As the world moves, we need to move with it and move ahead of it, in my opinion. So this is going to be a plea from me to the squatters, to the hustlers, to contact Add More Digital. If you're just a normal employee, we're tired of seeing a CV on paper. We're tired of seeing people begging at robots, at street lights, at traffic lights rather. You get a website for yourself. Get a website for yourself, www.penwell.co.za or .com. Put your page there, put your profile, where you come from, and then add tabs of some of the companies you've worked for. Add videos so that when people meet you, and maybe you have a business card which maybe has a barcode you can scan, even if not, you can tell them, look, if you want to find out more about me and what I do, go to my website. And in that way, I think it's going to be so much more powerful for people to connect with you, because literally you look at a piece of paper, it means nothing. But if I go onto your website, it could be also social media, which you guys said you help with.
Yes.
People can see in real time you working in your office. They can see you pitching something. If maybe you do work that's more physical, like you work in a beverage company, they can see you at work, overall, or whatever the case. We've seen Uspuda in the streets on social media. You go to a website, you see what he does. All of a sudden, people want to work with you because it's not just a piece of paper. So I implore all the squatters and the hustlers to please consider. We are becoming brands as individuals. So take yourself seriously. Jay-Z, I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman. Treat yourself like a business. Get a website. And let's connect with you via your website.
Most definitely. So we are available on all social media platforms. It's Add More Digital as well on Facebook, on Instagram, and on TikTok as well. It's a bit of everything for everyone.
No, thank you very much, brother. Congratulations with what you've started. Hoping you guys a greater journey in the future and looking forward to see your growth.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Monde. I don't know if you're ever going back to Zambia.
I was there not so long ago, so I think
it's still home.
It's still home.
Okay,
it's
so you here just. You want to go build back home?
Eventually, yeah. Eventually. Home is still home at the end of the day.
Fair enough. Monde, thank you so much for joining us, bro, and wishing you guys nothing but the best of luck.
All right.
Looking forward to bringing
last words on to the squatters, hustlers, and Penuelists out there.
And the Zambians. Shout out to everyone in Zambia, especially in Lusaka. We love you guys.
Love you guys.
So my final words will be, as Penyo had said, let's all start something. Let's not all wait for, things to happen to us. For example, like the pandemic. it exposed a lot of things. People lost jobs. People had to pay for bonds. People just went AWOL after that. So try and take the destiny and put it in your own hands. Because if you have your own company, you know what comes in, you know what goes out. You're able to maneuver things much better, as opposed to waiting for an employer who determine your future. So I'm not saying stop your job, but I'm saying it's always good to have something on the side going. Eventually, if it picks up, then become your own boss, create more jobs for your fellow youths as well.
One more request from me. You speak any indigenous languages from Zambia?
Yes.
Please, if you can give a message to our brothers and sisters in Zambia, just from your side as a Zambian living in South Africa in Joburg.
All right, so can I use one or two?
Please use your language at home. You can tell us afterwards what you were saying, but
all right.
Please.
Ndiste advice yo mwebo. Amusebenze maningi. Amuleke kulindila bantu. Akuchafweni, but be a step ahead. And muste wenkaulia.
Thank you so much.
It's so amazing how African languages sound so similar. Yeah? Like Bantu languages.
Yeah.
What language is that?
That's actually Lenje. So it's part of it.
Lenje.
Yeah, Lenje, yes.
Or Lenjes.
Lenje.
Lenje.
Or Lenje.
Spot on.
Thank you.
Lenje.
Oh, Lenje. Okay.
Yeah, so it's part of a 3 Bantu, but almost like a Bantu, but within Zambia. So it's Tonga, Lenje, and Ila. So they all sound very similar.
No Tonga. Tonga's very close to us now. That's when you're coming to the south. Tonga's got a very good relationship with us in the Goonies.
Yes.
Yeah, I picked up some Nguni words there. Some Nguni words there.
It's practically part of the Nguni. Yeah, we all diluted as we move
100%.
Yeah.
Down, diluting. So you find similar words here and then. So I would have a conversation with someone. I wouldn't understand everything, but I would understand the context.
Context, yeah. Like even me, I just understood the context of what you're saying.
Are you gonna give it a shot?
Yeah. You're basically giving advice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Monde, thank you so much, bro. We appreciate you and wish you guys nothing but the best. And hopefully when we come back, we'll all have websites with our names. We'll all have our own digital footprints, which have been built by Add More Digital.
I don't know, maybe I will try and hustle you a bit later.
Snap.
Maybe there as well. It is a hustle squad.
Let's make it happen,
right?
yeah.
I'll find, see what I can catch.
Thanks a lot, bro.
All right. Thanks.
Appreciate you.
All right.
Easy.
Thank you, bro. Bless you, bro.
Same here.
I'll see you soon. We're still out here. Let's see your business partner. These guys go to gym, Penyo. They look good, man. You can see with that spider machines. As better crane. You can see. I mean, look at this man. You can tell he wakes up in the morning.
Health.
He hits the gym, this man.
Hey, come on.
There we go. Yes, Bunga.
I always wanted to do this on camera.
My brother, how are you?
I'm good as man.
No, officially on the platform because we met you guys before. Welcome to the virtual Mkhukhu.
Sure.
I see, Baba, you're going to need the energy because Sizengawe.
Oh boy.
Exactly. Give this guy an acting job. Come on. Stan, how you doing, bro?
Tastes better on camera.
Of course. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How you doing?
If you can please, to the squatters and the hustlers, tell them who you are, where you're from, and then please feel free to also introduce your company as well, since you're also a co-founder.
All right. Stan Limoloto, originally from Limpopo, dusty villages of Muleji. Ke moloto mo ile le tlhaka moroka metsa pula ke mamoshita metsa maselemane a thotse.
Siyabonga.
I came to Joburg, I think 2004, if not 5, somewhere there. Did my metric here, did all my schooling that side, but did my metric here. Went to VUT.
Yeah.
That's Valley University of Technology. I did my computer systems engineering there. Then I did UX UI design.
Sure.
Long story short, fast forward, unemployment, don't complain. Get your skin in the game.
Yeah.
There was a place called the D's, not too far from where we are now. Got there, got a small hustle, designing and building a bit of websites. To Mondes, what Monde said, me and Monde were actually working on the same project, but we were not aware. I was doing the design, he was doing the development of the same project. One day I get up, I'm going to make coffee. And when I pass, I see, this guy has my design. I'm like, Marena, which one is this one? And he says, no, man, the client gave me this. I'm like, hey, man, I made this thing.
Yeah.
And the problem was the client would request him to make changes, or rather, he would request a few changes to be made.
Yeah.
The client would have to send me an email.
Sure.
I would have to make those changes on the design, send it back to the client. The client would then send it back to Monday for Monday to do the amends. Now, we then shorten that process because we are seated right across each other. Then that's how my journey with Monday then started. We moved from the D's, came to Tshimologong, Tshimologong Digital Precinct. It's a VETS enterprise, not too far from the university, just off Mandela Bridge. So this space is so good. I mean, it's a home for us. It's a home for most entrepreneurs. There's a lot of good work that's being done here. I myself personally am involved in a number of good products that are done here. Yeah. One of them is BizTweak. You can check them out, biztweak.co.org. They literally help small businesses. If you have an idea, literally you can go on this platform. It'll sort of take you through the journey of what you can expect and what you need to learn.
BizTweak.
Yeah, BizTweak.
BIZTWEAK.
Right.
BizTweak.
Yes.
Okay.
So check them out. They're doing some great work there as well. They can take you through the journey of an entrepreneur, how to start, what to look out for, how to register a company, the whole 9 yards. I'm also involved in a great product called Sensor. It's a sound assistive device for hard of hearing people and deaf people. Yeah. So literally, you put a wearable like a watch, sensors all around your house. When people are in your vicinity, the wearable will vibrate, and you then can be aware of yourself.
Jeez, that's beautiful.
With Edmo Digital, we literally
before you go to Edmo, let's talk about the sensing product. What is that one called? So it's BizTweak, and the sensing one, what is it called?
Sensor.
Sensor, as in SENSOR.
No, SO.
Or SO without the R. Yeah. Sensor.
Yeah.
So they can check them out on social media and what sensor.co.za?
Yes.
Okay.
So Edmo Digital, basically that's what we do. Websites, UX, UI design, graphics, and social media management. Website, any business literally that wants to have an online presence, the go-to is a website. So what we do with that, we combine that with social media. We always advise small businesses to have social media, simply because when somebody goes on Google to search, that improves your SEO, right?
So search engine optimization, right?
Right.
SEOs.
That's
okay.
SEO, yeah. So all of that, we put all of that practice into building a simple website. From a UX UI perspective, we make sure that the website speaks to your audience or your customer. So we design from a user's perspective.
Sure.
That's how we are unique as a digital agency, by employing a lot of UX UI in what we do. So that's that part. Graphics will simply be people looking for logos, somebody wanting to do a CI, corporate identity, or just to spiff up what it currently looks like to make it look much better. That's the 4 sort of pillars and services you'd find within Edmo.
You guys help with SEO.
Yeah.
So SEO, for the squatters and hustlers that don't know, as Usbuda said, is search engine optimization, which basically says when people are searching on Google, we live in a world with 8 billion people. I don't know how many internet users. You want your company, your business to come up on the first page and as far as possible at the top. And Ustan is basically saying they can help your business, whether it's social media pages, whether it's websites, which when I'm searching for a cleaning company, when I'm searching for a beverage company in Johannesburg, your company almost becomes the first one that people see, because people generally don't go past the first page on Google search.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah. So to just double click on the UX UI, that's
you can tell we're at a tech hub.
No. She's all funda I hope you're taking notes, love. Come on.
It says to just double click, so to just zoom in. Yeah.
So the UX UI, to explain it like Uhrotman would say to a young person, would be the blueprints for a building. For a building to exist, there was what we'd call the plan.
Okay.
Right? There's a plan, people draw the plan, and then the bricklayers and the builders come and then they build the actual building. So the UX UI process is the blueprints to any digital platform. We design that phase. We do the research on that phase. we draw personas. Who is your customer? What makes your customer tick? Why do they like what they like? Why do they not like what they like? How would your product compete in the market? That's how we come with the UX UI into the market. Yeah.
Again, to simplify for some people, so because some of these words, man, some of us had to break them down to understand them back in the day. So I did computer science and information systems when I was doing my accounting degree. User interface, just we simplify, interface is umuntu. So a lot of businesses and brands, especially online, you go onto a website, it's black and white, it's got a boring font. Imagine a company like a McDonald's. We know it's got the golden golden arcs, whatever, the big M. They use yellow and red. If you go in there's a Ronald McDonald. There's a way that you feel, which then becomes the user experience.
Yes.
Kumele must figure on your platform, on your page. Usbuda has done a beautiful job, I think twice now, explaining the entire can of MOFAYA so that when you see it, to what Ustan is saying, when you see it, melik donse, melik charme. That is the user interface. And then from there, the experience. Now that it's charmile, do you enjoy? How does it sound? How does it taste?
Yeah.
And that's physical products. But AdMore Digital does it on a digital front
100%.
to make sure that when you get on a website, what is going to make your website addictive? What's going to make people want to come back? What's going to make people want to do business with you or maybe hire you to work for their companies?
100%. Spot on. That's exactly what we do. Once you interact with a product, there's an experience that you get from it. Our job is to make sure that's a pleasant experience.
Beautiful. You're from Limpopo?
Yes, sir.
I know Moloto people here in the East Rand. I don't know if you have any family this side. I'm looking at your face now and there's a really good looking guy I went to varsity with called Utumelo Mloto.
Did you say
singer?
Good looking guy?
Very good looking face.
So you're saying I'm good looking?
No, fella, no, I'm kidding.
2023.
I'm kidding. Tina, we asabu kutshala umjiji ekuse mfethu ujimile ugrand unuka mnandi.
Why explain?
Aye, stop it. So
why go that far?
Very good looking guy. We used to call him Bricks at UJ. He's an amazing singer. Beautiful sister as well. She works in the police force. I don't know if they're from Davidson. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to ask if you have any family that side because you guys look similar.
Possibly. The Moloto people are spread quite wide and far.
Sure.
Originally from Muleji, but you'd find them in Pretoria, Moloto roadside.
Okay.
You'd find them.
You guys have your own road. Come on.
Yeah, man.
Hey, you don't want to know the taboo and the conspiracy theories about that road. He would know. Let's not talk about it. It's a topic for another day.
It's not a good.
I didn't say anything.
No, I'm asking.
It's a topic.
Okay, it's for topic for another day. Okay.
Man, it's my
we'll talk
story.
about it some other time.
Sure.
Sometimes
You know what I mean?
Sure. By Tibaska Bonadlo, that's what I'm about.
Exactly. But yeah, we're quite spread. You'd find a lot of us in Pretoria, that side of Moloto Road. You'd also find us in the Free State. So I wouldn't be surprised to have some cousins around the East Rand.
Actually, Moloto and the M surnames in the Bapedi culture are the most common surnames in the country.
I didn't know that.
So I remember
in the Bapedi culture.
Yeah, in the Bapedi culture. So you would know when we were still in high school, even from primary days, the most popular surnames are surnames that start with an M.
Yeah. Sure.
Yes.
Mloto.
Yeah, there's many M's.
Mloto. Mhlambe khona ngoba nathi sibahle kaMloto man. Niyasibona mos. Yanyiwe.
So there's Molotos, there's Mkweles, there's a lot of surnames in the Bapedi culture.
Just officially on the platform, Stan, I just want to say thank you to you and Umonde for giving us a tour of Tshimologong, sorry. The center here in Bram. If you guys want to come and check it out, it's a Wits University initiative, but it's open to the public. So if you're interested, especially in things like tech, come check out some of the stuff that they're doing. Usbuda mentioned, we saw parts where they do robotics, 3D printing. There's an agricultural project, which is an NFT project. We don't even know what that means. There's people that are doing stuff to get medicine to Okoko, Mkhukhu, Ekasi. It's an amazing space. You can come and work here. You can come and connect with the guys here. And if you've got any ideas outside of visiting BizTweak, come and connect with the guys and just come ignite your life, especially if you're unemployed. The guy spoke about you don't know what you're doing. You're watching YouTube, you're like, I don't know where to start. Kibeli takes, if you're not from around here, if you like Bram, even if you're studying, at a Wits, just take a walk. Uzuzobona lendao. You might find your future employer here, your future business partner here, your future wife here, and other cool people. Because life is just about human beings and network. And if you've got something of value to add, or if you want something to learn, come to this space. So just from my side, I just want to say thank you for the tour and for inviting us here.
No,
sorry, Spuda.
No problem. Go ahead.
I was about to add to what you're saying. If you're seated at home and thinking of what can I do, that's part of what we do at Admo, right? You're seated at home. You have an idea for an app or a web app for this digital product. All we need you to do is to have that idea. That's it. We will take that idea, wireframe it, understand your market, and eventually create your prototype that you can now go and present to potential investors. So,
how much do I pay to come join you guys here?
To be part of the co-working environment, there are different packages. There's a hot desk situation, meaning you just sit randomly. There's about 1,005. There's a dedicated space where that's your space. That's about 2.5.
This is a month, no?
Yeah, this is per month.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not that bad. But I mean, there's a coffee shop here. You can come and camp out here as well. So yeah, literally you don't have, as a people, I don't think we live in an era now where we can say, I don't know what to do. There's so much information on the internet. There are great services that other companies are offering out there, the biz tweaks of the world. So you can now know how to start a business without necessarily having went to a university to start a business. We are offering services that can transform your idea into a clickable prototype and that you can present to an investor. So you don't have to be stuck with an idea in your head or on paper. So reach out. We're here to help.
And maybe for your last words to the people out there, the hustlers and others who are interested in getting into tech.
I think tech is the place to be. Every business needs an online presence. Look into an online presence. It gives you a competitive edge. It's not that difficult. Companies like us at More Digital, we are here to offer you those services and help you through and guide you through that process. So let's build the economy that we'd like to have in South Africa. The bedrock of any successful economy in the world, it's small businesses. So let's get involved.
Stan, thank you so much, bro. Appreciate you. Appreciate Umonde. Add More Digital. Please check them out on social media,
anytime.
check their websites, etc.
Sure.
Thanks a lot, brother.
Thanks, gents.
Nice one. Are you going to move into the middle, pen? Okay, let me just put... Good to see you, Mr. P. Great episode. I think...
No, I'm listening to you, please.
No, I was just waiting for the chair.
Howdy.
I was saying the 2 last weeks have been incredible episodes on Virtual Mkhukhu.
Yeah.
For any of you guys who hasn't seen an episode that happened, not the one last week at the Vibe Gaming, but the week before, Penuel broke down energy versus coal versus nuclear, and just how Eskom started and where we are, where we come from, Eskom from the apartheid days all the way to coming right now. He literally simplified it for people like us to sort of be able to comprehend what is going on and all the different players and stakeholders that are working with the governments and some, IPPs or private companies that are participating in that space, and some people who sort of stand to benefit out of sadly our electricity crisis. It was an incredible educational episode. And when I met their brothers, Abu Monde and Stanley, that's the episode we actually discussed.
Yeah.
They spoke so highly of how you broke down information on that episode, and they obviously invited us, and they loved what we did at the Vibe Gaming. They saw that as well, and they wondered if we could come here and bless them with our presence. I'm just glad that we are here. We've met the incredible brothers, and I also hope that this episode not only gives a good plug for their business, but it also sort of helps them reach out to other kids out there who might eventually get help out of having seen this episode,
No, of course. Look, shout out to Stanley, shout out to Umonde, shout out to Add More Digital, shout out to the guys at the Vibe Gaming in Newtown. We appreciate them as well. Usbu always gets us in trouble, always on camera. So last year in some of the earlier episodes of the Virtual Mkhukhu, we invited people to take clips, put them on social media. That was really great and we loved it. He invited people to start doing timestamps, and I want to send a shout out to Ukwezindlo.
Quiz is consistent.
Kwezindlo, I met up with you in Florida, in Johannesburg, in
Have
the
you
West
met
Rand.
Kwezi?
Yeah. Dope young man.
Kwezi. Thank you, Kwezi. And I like the consistency.
Consistent. He took on the initiative. He didn't wait for us. He didn't wait for props, but I've met with him now. He wants to do more work. He's actually in the design space. He's an architect, to be honest. There's a person now who's reached out to me, Tibelo, who's looking to do subtitles. Because a lot of the squatters and the hustlers have said, look, sometimes when you guys go into Vernac, some of the continental brothers and sisters and the international brothers and sisters are not connecting. My plea to some of you guys, we read all of your comments, we appreciate you. We're going to be needing more help. So we're going to need assistance and those kind of people to assist us to maybe deal with email, maybe with Add More Digital. We're going to need people to deal with the emails because I'm getting so many DMs since last week of people saying, please come to our business in Randburg, come to our business, we've got a pop-up store. This is what I'm saying, Musbuda gets us in trouble because then my DMs get overflowed with so much, overloaded with so much stuff and so many people, but we appreciate you. We love you. I may not get to respond to all your DMs, but we see some of them. And if you can take initiative like Ukwezi, I mean, you saw we were at the Vibe Gaming in Newtown. If you can't reach out to us, go there, meet the guys there. Meet Stanley and Umonde here. Come to the precinct here by Wits and Bram. So connect at least if you can't get to us. There's an audit trail of where we are and what we do. Join the MOFAYA family, and somewhere along the way, or along the journey, we'll meet up and we'll do more work. But to people like Ukwezi and Tibelo for taking initiative, we appreciate you guys so much, and we're looking forward to visiting more of you. The other problem is Usbuda last week said all the tertiary students must invite us to their campuses. Some of you in Pretoria, some of the kids in Cape Town, some of the kids at UKZN have been sending me DMs. Geez, it's a lot.
We're coming.
But we're going to try and see. And hopefully if more of you can volunteer, I think for now we don't have much money, but as the money comes, we'll transport money. Obviously, so Puzama MOFAYA, there'll be food. Let's see if we can build our own ecosystem so that you guys can help us build this thing. And look, it's me and Usbu. There's two of us. There's Umchasto at the back. But maybe some of you where we can't get to places on behalf of the Hustlers Corner, the virtual Mkhukhu can start doing some of the work on our behalf. And we build a real community of hustlers and squatters out there. And we do something really, really special as a virtual community.
So I've done a lot of work with the seminars over the years through Leadership 2020 and just putting together events and getting overseas people coming in the country, just hosting them, organizing, doing PR, marketing the events, and making sure there's thousands of people in the audience, there's bums on seats. I want to say it's the same thing when you invite people. You don't just invite us to just rock up. You do the work. You know, we meet us halfway. Speak to the SRC if you're at an institution. Find out dates that are available where you think you can invite this podcast to come and have a conversation with the students from your campus. Speak to the SRC guys, see what they can put onto the table as far as inviting us to come over. Some of you guys who are not in Gauteng, speak to them and say, these guys are willing to come even at no cost, but just cover their flights. Or if maybe, you know, it needs to be cover their hotel or whatever, just to get them here. We'll market with the school. We'll make the students know and maybe let everybody know 2 weeks prior or a month prior. But you do the work so that it's easier for us. You're making it easier for us to just show up, just like what they did. You know, they spoke to the hub. Yeah. They got some more fires. They got water.
That's
they
pretty dope.
Booked this room. They made sure there was electricity. They basically did everything. All we had to do was to show up. When you guys do that, you're making it easier for us to then, make it possible for us to come through. Other than that, if we have to do all of the work, then sometimes it's almost impossible. You know, and I'm not saying if they had to, put together all of that work for them to be able to visit all these different countries and shows, they wouldn't be at half of these venues that they go to. It's just that they show up. But obviously the organization is done by the people that are inviting the specific people that, they're inviting them to come over. So make it easier for us.
Please, meet us halfway, man. I just want to give a shout out again. TMDS Africa, Artistic Luxury Jewelry, who gave us look at your life. Look at your life.
He's watching, so I'm sure he's going to go do one.
I want to give a shout out. We spoke about books at some point last year. I remember on the Hustlers Corner, we used to give shout outs to books. We used to ask people to tell us which books they're reading, etc. Uputu Velimpele brought books for us, etc. So I just want to give shout outs to certain people. Siyabulela Nganga. I think he's got 2 books which are on Take-A-Lot. These are bestsellers. Before You Get Married, Stop the Divorce Epidemic. For those of you who maybe heard whatever the gossip around Usomize Nomuhale or Naman Funukshat, Before You Get Married by Usiabulela. Another very inspiring book, at least for me, From Rags to Freedom of Life. Usiabulela Nganga as well. And then in the last week, I got 2 books that were given to me by people that follow our content, and we appreciate and we love you guys. Tsilitsi Nembizani, The Collapse of Political Leadership in South Africa, National and Generational Crisis, a Social Nuclear Bomb. A lot of people are worried about what's currently happening in South Africa politically, from an economic perspective, and shout out to him for writing this book. And then the last one is actually a kiddies book from Umbali Mavundla, who sent this to me as well. Kids on the Road. Ninena angeke sithi nanbribe, but ninena thola ama K53 license ngeindlela ethizeni. Kids on the Road, Junior Driving Manual, Basic Road Knowledge and Introduction to the World of Driving for Minors. This book is easy to read from grade R to grade 7, so that your children, ingane zinongena estradini zingazi kwenzakalani, at least so that your kids have got some kind of understanding of signs on the road and they become literate on driving and those kind of things. So I just want to send a shout out to these guys. We appreciate the free books, man. These are free, but you guys obviously sell them. We give a shout out so that you guys can get sales. But for the fact that these books actually add real value in people's lives, I appreciate them. I thank you. I'm going to read them. I'm going to pass them on because siyafunda, we puff and pass. Siyafunda and give the next people to read that can't afford. But those that can afford, we obviously give a shout out so that they can buy them as well.
I've got some books to share as well from this incredible guy. Hey. He's a really good writer. Not a good looking guy though, but I just want to appreciate you, my brother, for sharing this book on passive income. What is passive income is waya. Ekasi. Wire basically is passive, like non-stop, so it says passive income, make money without working. I'm sick and tired of being poor. I hope you are too, and I hope that's why you have purchased this book, because that's why I wrote it. This person who's written this book has got other titles that include Uktanda Ilanga, Loving the Sun, Bits and Pieces of Inkunzi, Unomathemba in the Darkness, Fight Fear, Master Your Fears, Get Rich Now. This is Penuel, the Black Pen, Making Money Without Working, Penuel Mlocha. The next one that I have over here is when he was young. This brother was very good looking. The rise and fall.
I still look like that. Stop it.
What is the rise and fall of the NSC? It says how I made and lost my millions. What is the NSC?
I think at some point we must actually unpack all the books I've written. You're putting me on the spot. And I struggle with compliments and those things, something that people don't know about me. I'm actually really shy.
But just
but I actually get shy on the spot.
I know, I've noticed.
So passive income, like MOFAYA, is building business systems so that even when you can't work, your business systems are working for you to make money. The rise and fall of the NSC, I was inspired by a book by Ian Furr, who built Sorbet. The company called Sorbet. The way he wrote that book inspired me to write this one. I don't think enough people write books on how they failed in business. It's always success stories. So this one is my failure story. We spoke about failures last week on how I made money and how I lost money and my journey there. And it's not just my journey, but I also give education in there as well.
That's incredible. And this one is parenting with Penuel. Cuff these kids. And then it's got all these beautiful babies, man. They all look like him. And I'm sure, obviously, more like their mothers. Your kids are beautiful,
definitely
bro.
their mothers. Those kids are too good looking.
Your kids are beautiful, bro. What is this one on?
So that's my parenting book. Tongue in cheek. Fuck these kids. It's my view of fatherhood. There's some really good chapters there for people that ask questions. Things like, how much do children cost? People don't know what that is. And there's a chapter there on the different packages, depending on are you a Louis Vuitton parent or are you a parent of a Sasa Grant? I've written another book. I just haven't released it. And it's a conversation between me and the mothers of my kids. Just not a lot of men write books on parenting. You normally hear parenting from a woman's perspective. So I wanted to tell my story from a father's perspective because I've got children from different mothers, some of those things. But this is on parenting, some of the stresses, dealing with maintenance, dealing with some of these into damages in Tlawulo, and those type of things, and then obviously giving a shout out to my kids as well, so that part of my legacy is leaving story and narrative, and my kids can use this now as part of the stories that their fathers told them, or their father told them about his experience as a dad.
It's got chapters like African side of having kids, emotional support and therapy. How much does a baby cost? Babies are not meant to be expensive. Family business. Raising trained killers.
Yeah.
Kids need a little bit of violence. Letter to my unborn seed. The power of accumulated advantage. Penuelism principles on education. Penuelism principles on parenting. Rich habits for your children. The Chinese Mother by Amy Chua. Struggling with co-parenting. Unmarried parent. Know your rights. There's a whole lot more chapters. Incredible work by our brother Penuel, sharing his experiences on parenting. And then there's more, by the way, but the few that we have here, lastly, it's not his last book, but it's just out of the few that we have here. This one is Penuelism Principles. God Penuel, previously Penuel Mlojwa.
Yeah, this one is basically my books on living. For people that know, we've spoken about this when I first joined. I've built my own culture, my own religion, and anyone who's got a respectable belief system should have it documented so that people can follow the prescriptions. And this is basically going to be my Bible for people that want to live according to my principles, and people that maybe are just looking for an alternative to the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, Buddhist writings. These are my writings and my contribution to a way of living that will hopefully fulfill you and serve you in your life.
It's got 31 principles or / 31 chapters. Own your mind, animalism, lies and truth, community, minimalism, money is not real, parenting, education, leadership and management, healthy living, crime, sex and dating, maturity, thinkers, speakers and doers, work, Ikigai, which is purpose, language, the body, religions, systems, the concept of winning, maintenance, trauma, the foreign mindset, why I admire Jews and Muslims, the Afrikaner Spartans, value over money, murder. Geez, he touches on a lot, and that's why they call him the black pen. He puts his thoughts to paper, which is a great thing. Continue writing, bro. Are you writing anything new? I did an episode with Notes, I think 2 weeks ago, and he spoke about, I think you might be helping him with Everything Hates Nota, with the Everything Hates Nota.
Everybody hates Nota.
Everybody hates Nota concept.
No, Nota and I have spoken about one of the greatest books our squatters and hustlers will ever read is a book called The Autobiography of Malcolm X. When you read the title, it's called The Autobiography of Malcolm X as told to Alex Haley. Alex Haley is the author that wrote Roots, which became a very famous story with Okunta Kinte about the slaves that were taken from Africa. Not everyone writes their own book. Some people have what's called a ghostwriter. So you'll say the book was written by me, but it was written by someone else that's unknown. Unota wants to basically tell his story, and he'd like me to help him conceptualize, write, and those type of things, because he has a lot to tell, a lot to teach. A lot of people know. He's got alternative views, which some people disagree with. So we're going to be doing some of that work. Thank you so much for giving me a shout out. The name, The Black Pen, obviously is a play on words, but it started here when I started writing years ago. And then I did hip hop. I've got 2 mixtapes, which I'll maybe release at some point. I became the Black Pen there as well. And then later on with my voice as well, I became that. So thank you so much for putting me on. I wanted to put other people on, but I appreciate this from you and Umchasto. I know Umchasto is the one who pompile to bring these books here. So Justice, thank you so much, bro. And thank you to you, Sbuda.
And thank you, man, for penning down your thoughts. A lot of people, we don't write and we just live this life. I guess it's because it comes from just that African culture of passing on the knowledge orally.
Orally, yeah.
But I think it's very important to put thoughts to paper. I've gone through so much also since my last book, which happened about a year or 2 before the lockdown. It's been about 5 years now, which I think it's enough time for me to put out the next book. As I did tell you, during the lockdown, I was writing and I'd have some writer's block at some point. But as I've been traveling over the past couple of months, I've also had some time to just use my phone and just keep writing. And writing doesn't only need for you to take some space and go away to some quiet place. Sometimes as you live in your life over your phone, you can just keep on putting things down, just like me. I'll be on a plane for like many hours. I'll take out my phone, maybe spend like 20, 30 minutes writing writing down something. Sometimes I'll be on it for like an hour or two, writing down something just on my phone. And then when I've got time, transfer it to my laptop, type properly, etc. Don't worry about it being too perfect, because at the end you'll take it to people like proofreaders and other people who might help you or can help you phrase certain wordings better. But just pour out whatever's on your mind. Just keep pouring it out. Just keep writing. So I'm mentioning it for the first time. I haven't mentioned it anywhere else. Well, except for an episode that I think is coming out this week on the Sizwe Mpofu Walsh.
SMWX
platform. By the way, dope interview.
Thank you so much. Shout out to Sizwe Mpofu Walsh, Dr. Dr. Sizwe Mpofu Walsh with his doctorate from Oxford. Shout out to Sizwe Mpofu Walsh. He's an amazing mind. He's passionate about South Africa, about South Africans, about making an impact in this country. And shout out to him for inviting me. Shout out to him for having you. And shout out to him for, people are starting to call us the Avengers when we had Notes and Opensinia. We're building this, an alternative leadership group. I think this is essentially what we're becoming, where maybe some of you don't go to church, as an example. Maybe some of you don't listen to traditional leaders. So we become your alternative space and alternative leaders. And we're building this Avengers where people like Sizwe Mpofu Walsh come through and they educate and they sculpt minds so that we can build a better country.
I love the fact that it's able to simplify sophisticated South African politics in the most simplest way, and people like us get to easily comprehend it. So he invited me. I was on his platform for an interview. We almost sat down for like 2 hours. I think that episode is coming out either tomorrow or Wednesday, but sometime this week. So I mentioned on his platform that I'm coming out with a brand new book. So I'm officially saying it for the first time here. I'm dropping my new book this year on the African New Year. So the African New Year is 23rd of September. I'm dropping my new book on the 22nd, which is the Friday of September. But I'm dropping the book simultaneously with a brand new album. The brand new album and the brand new book are both going to have the same title. Why the same title? Because the audiences are different. Other people prefer reading or listening to audiobooks. Other people prefer probably just listening to music. So I'll be simultaneously releasing a sonic music album in a long time that I've put out, like works where I'm putting in body of work in a musical format to put it out there. But a lot of people have been asking me about what I've been going through. Some people ask me about the journey that I've been through with my businesses with MOFAYA. We've had some failures with some of our businesses. I've had some big failures with a lot of things that I've been participating in over the years, including Abu Vandal t-shirts. We didn't take off and do as well as we thought we would with like Massive Metro, for instance. We got into a debt there. We owe business partners a lot of millions. And some of you guys have been reading a lot about my tax affairs in the media, owing SARS almost like $1 million. Some of you guys have been asking me a lot of questions around Zahara issues and matters. So there's a lot of things that I need to speak about and clear them out there, because sometimes when a narrative just continues to go on, anything might happen with our lives, but you're not leaving the right information 100%. Behind. So I believe there's so much information where people out there would love to hear from me in my own words. And for the first time as a creative person or an artist, I've decided to be more involved in going on the mic on this new musical project that I'm doing. I'm working with incredible guys like Josiah the Disciple. I've interviewed him actually about a week or two ago. He gladly invited me to be in his environment and start doing some musical works with him. I've interviewed Chima Music, whatever you guys call him. Incredible, amazing brother. His sound is one of those amazing sounds. I've reached out to Dakapo. I think it was like 2 years ago. I was like, I'd like to work with you, bro. I've reached out to Eno Napa. I've reached out in the past to guys like Prince KB. I do a lot of work with Drum Pope. I've reached out to a lot of people that I musically admire, and I'm loving their sound, and I'd love to do some work with them. And I think for this new book or project that is coming out, they'll do justice in helping me express my journey where I am in life right now musically. Because then I'll come up with concepts on how do I merge the two, the book, the information, or being a public speaker with the musical element. When people come to my shows, what should they expect? Are they going to expect Sbu on stage with a microphone speaking? Or is he going to have an act performing music? Is he going to be behind the decks? That's when you sort of, bring other people who've got bright minds, who've musically directed other projects before, to sort of come and help you bring this thing to life of mixing a book and an album together, because it hasn't been that often done.
Yeah.
So it's good to hear you speak about writing your raps, having an ambition to sort of put out that work sometime one day, but simultaneously writing books as well. Those are all bodies of work, and that is all legacy that, you know, will surpass and it'll live behind. And I want to encourage people out there, as many of you guys as possible, put your thoughts to paper.
Yeah, you've triggered so many thoughts in my mind. I'm going to try and go through all of them quickly.
Yeah.
Otherwise, so first and foremost, you know, I'm so happy that you raised that thing, because a lot of people see artists, actors, maybe even politicians, and they believe they're one-dimensional. You look at someone like Mbuyiseni Ndlozi, who's an amazing singer. A lot of us have many gifts and talents. A lot of you, and you maybe don't even know that you have them, or you're scared. I sat down with an amazing lady called Miranda Nchangase, who owns a company called Star Quality, which manages talent in Johannesburg, and herself and her partner Uzinzi, I think Wakazungu, they've set up a performance academy which trains people on the industry. And Miranda was saying art is expression, and no one should ever police your expression. It's your voice, it's your story, and you need to tell your story, to what Usbu was saying, so that people know. Even if they disagree, they'll say, at least he once told his story. She said, whether we are jiva, you've got two left feet, whether mautula we are bimba, it is your voice, it's your story. So don't ever be afraid to express yourself. My two mixtapes are called Uktandilanga mixtape and the Bits and Pieces of Inkunzi mixtape. And when I started, I used to be a visual artist. I draw, I paint. My ideas back when I was in varsity was to write a book, a story, because my first three books are Uktandilanga, Bits and Pieces of Inkunzi, and Unomathemba in the Darkness. And what I wanted to do at the time, time and distraction in school, I wanted to do soundtracks. So that's why I did the two mixtapes. So each book has got its own soundtrack. And then do television, either a series or a movie, where the music can then be used. And then I wanted to make artworks so that every book I write has got its own exhibition, which travels around the country. So we have limited time and resources in this life. And I love that Usbu's mentioning all the people he's going to be working with on his album. And this is where collaboration comes in. Donald Glover, who's known as Childish Gambino, they've done Atlanta. He sings, he acts. And if we can collaborate, we've spoken about collaboration last year in 2022. If we could collaborate, we could do so much. Because as the Add More Digital guys said, you don't have to, just because you have an idea doesn't mean it's dead. Collaborate with people. So Usbu's got an idea for music, but he's not going to be working alone. I never got to make the music for my books. I never got to make the artworks, but I can collaborate with people. And even writing a book, like you said, with Unota, I can write a book or start a concept, and you can come and there can be 5 of us or 10 of us as authors on one book. If you look at the Marvel comics, there are so many people that have written. If you look at some of your favorite soapies, they've had so many different writers. So there's nothing stopping us from writing books together as a collaboration, making albums together as a collaboration, doing art exhibitions, which is a collection of artists at the same time, etc., etc. I mean, we're doing podcasts or vodcasts now. We're working with Nota, with my brother Penson, with Usizwe Mpofu Walsh, with Nkululeko Nkeu, with so many other people. You know, so collaboration is how we're going to win together, and we get to sharpen each other, and we get to inspire each other, and. So it inspired that. And speaking about dropping the album, one of the things I wanted us to speak about, I don't think we're going to get time this week, is I wanted to hear your own personal journey. You've been on a personal journey in Jobusu and the dreads. At some point, I'd like us to sit, and maybe I'd like to sit back and let you speak. I'm asking you in future, where you speak about your journey currently. I now pay attention to more of the work they're doing with the great empire of Kemet. So your journey, we spoke about diet and those things. I'd like you at some point to just school us on your journey. It's your personal journey, I know. You've said, I'm not trying to tell people how to live, but just so we can learn. You speak about music. Inzalo Yelanga hopefully is going to be coming this year again, and hopefully I'll join this time and I'll be free. Shout out to DJ Black Coffee. Outside of the episode he did with Podcast and Chill, which was at 11 cinemas theaters around the country with Sterkinoko. I saw that he's going to be performing at the Madison Square Gardens in New York. I'm surprised that he hasn't been there. When someone told me, I was like, no, I'm sure he's performed there already. But I don't think he has. And I think for almost every musician performer, the Madison Square Gardens, I think the O2 in London, those are amongst the biggest. We used to have the Coca-Cola Dome, which was bought out by We Buy Cars in Johannesburg. There's these platforms where it's like acting in Hollywood. It's like getting a Grammy. It's like getting an Academy Award. You want to perform there because it's arguably the biggest platform in the world. So shout out to Black Coffee. I'm not surprised. He's just doing what he does. But we have to obviously send kudos and love to him for what he's done. I think I'll stop there. In the last point I'll make is, I spoke about Eskom 2 weeks ago. Congrats to the new Minister of Electricity, Gosienso Sputla Ramokgopa. Good luck to him. Good luck to the work he's going to be doing. Good luck to all the abuse he's going to be getting from us. Njalo masihlele bumnyameni sobe sesikhomba wena. Sobe singasakhomba oGwede no Pravin no Andre sobe sesikhomba wena baba. Kodwa good luck with this heavy task that you have on your shoulders. And we hope you'll make a change, or at least you'll educate us on why it's difficult and try and get some of us to be plugged in and to help with the energy crisis we have in the country.
No, it definitely is part of that. On the new book that I am writing, that's also another chapter, the spiritual stuff. A lot of people have been asking about the growing of hair, the growing of beard, the hugging of trees, the walking barefooted, the spiritual journey that one has been going through. My business partners haven't been understanding some of them as well. Yeah. Some people who care about me, they've been reaching out. Are you really okay? Are you going through stuff? What is it? My family has been concerned. My mom has been on my side the whole time. My mom has been going through this journey with me, incredibly so, guiding me, mentoring me, helping me, even meet the elders, from the elders that I've never met, the uncles. I've traced, the family tree of where my father's origins are, where he comes from. And just outside of my own family tree, just also in traveling the continent more, traveling to Egypt, to the pyramids of Giza, traveling to Kenya, traveling to Ethiopia. I've been to the Ethiopian Museum. I've found out a lot of their history as well, and where they come from, and what has happened in the past for them to be, the only country that has never been colonized. I think it's them, and is it Libya as well, right?
I know Ethiopia.
Yeah.
I'm not sure which other one, but
anyway.
I know Ethiopia is famous for never being colonized. Shout out to Haile Selassie.
Yeah. Learned a lot of things there as well. Learned a lot of things by having spent some time in Tanzania. I'd love to go back to Tanzania. I'd love to go back to Kenya.
Yeah.
I'd love to build even more relations there. So over the past 7 years, one has really been going through this amazing journey, which has taught me to be more focused on the most important things in life as opposed to izinto zomhlaba. I guess some of you guys who've been following my work for quite some time, over time, I think you've seen I've had less and less interest in material things, in brands, in expensive cars, in just what people would call the finer things in life. And I've been drawn more towards nature, towards history, towards African spirituality. And it's just been my own journey. And I've just been taking my own time to learn at my own pace. And I've gotten mentally strong enough to be able to withstand all of the heat and the criticism that people might throw at you.
Yeah.
And be in tune and in touch with uNkulunkulu wami, and just know that at my own pace, I'll find time to tell my own story properly.
Yeah.
Why am I telling my story? Even though I might have said in the past some things that don't have to be explained, but I kind of feel for the sake of the younger guys and for the sake of other people who are living in the westernized world, I've also been one of those people. You know me. I've always suited up. I've always been a trendsetter in clothing. I've driven the most amazing cars. I've had a great life, and having experienced a lot of those things earlier on in my life. And as life evolves, I've always had this Western mindset of being, I don't want to say brainwashed by movies or the lifestyle we're living over the years, but being brand conscious, being just this person and this soft life that a lot of people are living now on Instagram. We're one of the blessed people to have lived it early in our earlier years. Yeah. And certain things as you grow, you get to have some T-junctions there, some cul-de-sacs there, some certain things that you might not understand. And sometimes you go with your own mindset of being stubborn and just, having been raised Christian and this is who I am, and this is how I live. And understand the meaning to that's not for me, and but at some point, whether you like it or not, they will catch up with you. When they'll catch up with you, no matter how intelligent you are, how educated you are, how well connected you are, there will be a point where there are no solutions but to go back to your elders and your grandparents or your great grandparents, or if being a circle, you amadlozi.
Sure.
And if you are blessed enough to still have your parents alive, they'll be able to then guide you on some of the rituals that you have to go through, or some of the things that you have to do to go and find yourself and understand yourself. It's not an easy journey. At some point it can get painful, but it's a beautiful experience to go through if you are not in a hurry, if you are humble to tell yourself, let them take over, let it happen at its own time. Let the noise that keeps on coming help me, God, for me to be able to block out all of that noise. Let me just go through this, no matter how long it takes. Sometimes you think, in about a year or 2 or 3, I've been going through it, as I was saying, it's almost 7 years now. It's beautiful, though. I think it's grown me. It's shown me the best man that I can be. I look in the mirror now, and the type of man I was a few years ago to the type of man I am now. Amazing, incredible growth. I'm 43, 44 this year. But in my mind, I feel like I've lived even 20 more years.
It's a rebirth, what you experience.
It's a rebirth, right? Yeah. So that's the reason why I'm coming out with those projects, that album and that book, to explain all of that.
Yeah.
I believe there are younger guys out there. Some of them are probably still at varsity. Some of them are living their life, or some of them are growing. Some of them are westernizing their mentality. It's good for them to listen to real stories from us, sharing what we've been through, what we've experienced, and how we are tackling it, how we are humbling ourselves to learn from it, so we are able to become better teachers to them out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I criticize Izangoma today, a lot of them, the new age sangomas, but I have to say I appreciate the fact that they are opening conversations that we need to have, because in that conversations, while you're laughing, while you're saying, I have depression, what, and then it becomes that thing of, because udokotela can't help me, my therapist can't help me, I went to church, I didn't get help. Labanta tengibahleka, awuthi ngiyozukuthi what's going on? Because nalo sisi lo mhlambe ngimhlekayo, naye she was a slay on Instagram, she was a what, she liked flashy things, and maybe she's going through a similar journey, maybe of rebirth, of discovery, and you're saying, look, your past life was great and it was beautiful, and it's for some people. And the problem is, once you need assistance, and sometimes those people can then help you and say, actually, this is why I underwent this. So thank you very much to them. I wanted to ask you, you are multidimensional, from radio as a DJ, where you could have been we've got legendary DJs in this country that they've become masters in what they do. As a music DJ, there are legendary DJs, like we said, Black Coffee, who are zoned in and focused on their craft and are world class. As people that own record labels overseas, locally, that are amazing at what they do, and you guys at TS, Nino TK. As people who have written books, there are people that they focus on just being authors. There are people who are speakers, of this world, who they focus on speaking and they become world-class speakers. There are people who start companies, like a MOFAYA, and all they focus on is growing this company. There are people like Okreichabesi who focus on crypto, on NFTs, and they zone in fully. You are so multidimensional. And I wanted to ask, the curse of having so many gifts, and I'm calling it a curse because it's a huge blessing, but the curse of having so many gifts when you have limited time, limited resources, where you spoke about your business partners, where everyone that you work with in your multiple dimensions, they almost want you to, why don't you just stick to music? Why don't you just focus on the record label? Why don't you just focus on radio? Why don't you just focus on being an author? Why don't you just... How have you dealt with that? How are you dealing with that? Because there are so many kids out there, and they might have two gifts. I sing and I act. It might be, no, I draw and I'm a rugby player. I work in this company, but I also play the saxophone. How do people deal with a world which has limited time, limited resources, and everyone around you is kind of forcing you or begging you, please focus on one thing. How do you deal with it?
That's a very good question, Penuel. And I know there's a lot of people out there who are going through those types of scatteredness in their brains and having to make those decisions, and some are not sure. Like, how do I go? Should I listen to people and just focus only on this? I can only give advice or answer your question based on my own experiences.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say this is what people must go do.
Yeah.
You are correct. There's people who focus on one thing and they're great at it. And I'm not one of those people. I had a great episode with Robot Boy. He's one of my mentees, by the way. I'm so proud of him and so proud of his achievements and growth and the incredible work that Robot Boy is doing out there in the Amapiano space as an artist, as a drummer, as a dancer, as an MC. He's a rapper as well. He's an incredible guy, social media specialist, as an entrepreneur. He's done incredible work. So I love you, Mzi. I love you so much. So guys, go check out that episode where I sat down with Mzi. I think it's about a year ago now. Maybe it's about like 40, 50 episodes ago. On the Hustler's Corner next door. Go check out that episode. We spoke about that, being multidimensional and doing these different things. He's a drummer. He's also a dancer. He's a rapper. He writes music. He's also a comedian. People don't know that Robot Boy is actually a comedian and all these things. And we had that conversation where he says, coming up, he's always looked up to me. Out of a lot of people in the industry, he says, I was one person that he was looking at who was doing all these multi-dimensional things, because he was told that he must focus on one thing, but he kind of felt, but I've got this person that I'm looking at in the industry who's doing all these different things. For me, I kind of feel it's a form of expression, and all of these different ways is just different distribution outlets to pour out of, to express myself or to express myself through. You know, so you're a painter, you're a writer, you're an orator, you're a really good speaker, but you're also an MC. But these are all different tools or all different channels in how you're expressing your gift. For me, it's the same. I always say usibusiso. For those who don't know, in English is a blessing. I always say I'm blessed to become a blessing. So my blessing comes through all these different distributions. You know, my blessings comes to you through music. My blessings come to you through podcasting. My blessings come to you through reading my books, me reading my own books on your behalf, if you're one of those people who prefer audio books, my music, my TV shows, radio shows, business, business startup companies that I've put out, a lot of the failures that I've had to go through, but all of this information that I keep sharing it through all these different distribution outlets. It's up to a person. If you believe you are going to be successful in all of them, and you're going to somehow find a way to keep on expressing yourself, maneuvering these things over the years, it will definitely be that. If you don't think you will be successful, it's still the same. It's like somebody who studies to have a backup plan or something to fall back on. They're already studying for that, and they're studying for the moment where they will need something to fall back on. Because they've already told themselves in their mind they will need something to fall back on. As opposed to that person who says, I'm going full on, I'm going into this thing. And I don't have any other plan. It's either I succeed in this or I don't. I'm going full in. That person has decided that they will be successful. So even me, I knew that I will be successful one way or another. But I guess it was also fueled by how difficult it was for me to get into the entertainment industry. So I was like, either way, it's like not kneeling or evaya emaphikazi nagroti thina siphuma emaforumini lezi ziyadlala zine swimming pool kubo amafence okubo made kunezinja unokubona ispace nyana segate uyaqoba laphana ebaphila kamnandi abantwana bakhona bayadlala swimming pool bayabhampa laphana kuma trampoline wena uyazi ukuthi lokushina zikho zonke ridings. You know what you know is nge1 ka September sithelana njengamanzi mara lezi zine swimming pool sometimes unokugibela igate like ngathi uyaqoba ngathi ukhalela ukudlala nazo leziyana. You just want to be a part of that. So I sometimes unokuzama ngara, sometimes ngizamile ukungena egamini man, ngizama nge-radio kuyala ngivaya ama-audition ngipophi kunini ngiwavala ama-audition akuhlangana ngizama ukungena e-TV thumela ama-CV ngiya-applya. So it came from that. Uzama ukungena ngapha kuhlangana, uzama ukungena ngale mara kusalayo ngizongena la. So ngizame ngomculo, ngizame nge-radio, ngizame. So ngathi even when one platform opened up, ngangena. I didn't just stick to that platform. So nakhona nangena, I had to learn more how to produce, how to be of service without even getting paid, but just be an asset there. Abo Paul bazokutshela bebangistira, abo Fetjo bebangistira bebangncanya, because bengistiraga, I was always there. I was always reliable. I was just always hanging around. I love clothes. I love informing myself. I was a DJ. I knew what was going on out there at the parties, etc. And somehow, some sort of way, the little that I had, I always had to bring it to the table and contribute. So at some point, I was producing for Rude Boy Paul and Unati's afternoon drive show. I was a judge on a certain feature that DJ Fresh gave me an opportunity for his radio show. I would frequent and visit Rude Boy Paul when he used to do his evening show at YFM, when they still have Irrespectivity Jam Nabo Oskido. He used to have me hang around there. The late great Kabzela May, so rest in peace. He would embrace me. I used to visit him in studios. So I found all sorts of different ways to try and get into the industry. Even when I got in, I sort of created all these different relationships, and I just never stopped going for auditions for TV commercials or for TV acting or for TV presenting. I never stopped pursuing my radio dream. I never stopped pursuing music. Even when I was in, I just never stopped all these different aspects of all these different things that I wanted to do. So for some reason, I so happened to succeed in all of them.
Come on. Find channels to express yourself. Go all in. Don't let anyone limit you. I've heard Kanye West speak about he had to fight to be recognized as a fashion icon. He had to fight to be recognized as Kanye does fashion, he does music.
Fashion designing, he does music. He's also an artist.
People don't know he's an amazing
music
artist.
Producer as well.
He's also a music producer. Elon Musk has done the same. Bishop T.D. Jakes sat with a young pastor explaining that he was a kid at some point who had dreams of making movies. So the pastor thing or the religion thing, the church thing was his gift and his calling. But his dream never died. And that's why to this day, he makes movies. People don't know. He produces a lot of movies. He's written a lot of books. And he wasn't writing those books as umfundisi. He was writing them because he enjoyed writing. So people mustn't limit their forms of expression and their channels, I think is what I'm getting from you. I had a question, man. And the question is, do you think there's a chance that you're addicted to hustling in almost a painful way? So I've been giving advice to a lot of couples and young people about Jolayo. What's happened with our generation is and we normalize ukjola. In grade 10, varsity. And by the time you get to 25, 30, 35, and you're supposed to settle down, the fear from me and what I've seen, the trend is you've become addicted to new relationships. You've become addicted to the honeymoon phase. You've become addicted to finding the new hit. And by the time you have to commit, we are hlulega because of that. And either you cheat constantly on your partner or you break up because of which end of. So I'm trying to ask you, and this is just a personal thing, maybe we can touch on other people. Do you ever fear that you might be addicted to ungene makhoneni, where even if you find an amazing commitment, this is like you've now found your wife in MOFAYA, but because usuwajwayela so much ungene makhoneni, you're like, yeah, ngayibona media, this is my main, but I have to find a new chick, crypto. I have to find a, which we might call, we're addicted to knowledge and curiosity and exploring. But obviously in a relationship sense, it's frowned upon. So do you fear that you'll never be able to settle on one hustle and it might hurt you? It might actually hurt you, which I actually found the business which combines music, speaking, writing. Every Sunday, baphuza MOFAYA, siyacula, ngiya-DJ esontweni, I get to speak, ngibhala incwadi for isonto. It's captured so many of my gifts, but I have to go. I have to find the next hit. You know, are you not scared of being addicted to the hustle for yourself, and it might actually have a negative impact?
Very, very good question. I interviewed Kabelo Mabalane. Booga Two Shoes. Always,
Booga Love, boy.
Always a big fan. Go check him out next door on the Hustlers Corner podcast. I think it's 11 episodes or 13 episodes ago, towards the end of 2022 last year. And he was saying the same thing. You know, when are you settling down, bro? It's like, are you waiting to be a billionaire before you get married? What's going on?
Sure.
And
It's got an amazing wife who's an amazing actress, Ugail Mabalane, and they've got an amazing family.
yeah, so they inspire me, man. Always been my inspiration, Puga too. Always loved him as my brother. We've been bumping into each other at the gym, and he's been inviting me to come see him. And I'll see you soon, Kabza. I'll put it this way. Angispani. I'm not working, like I'm retired. I just do whatever I want to do. Like I wake up and do whatever I want to do, you know? I don't have to wake up because I have to go make money. Money is important, yes. That's why, as I was saying earlier, over the past 5-7 years or so, I've just decided to go and follow up on that family tree. I'm doing all of that work so I'm able to pass on the right information to my children. Because if I don't go down that journey, if I don't go down that rabbit hole, the more some of our elders keep dying, our uncles are dying. And as we did say, that African history and culture and where your family tree comes from is usually passed on orally.
It's the death of a library.
Exactly. And it's up to all of y'all every year to come together, to bring your kids together so you continue being this one family. So the kids also know one another. So as we age, the information gets passed on that you guys are all one family and what family, in which family tree or what branch you come from, you know?
Can I come in?
Let me drive to a point.
Okay.
So what matters to me the most is that so as to say that while I've been going through that, I think because I work with such intelligent, amazing people, a lot of the hard work that one did in the earlier years, let me speak about, for instance, this project, was to entrepreneurs out there underestimate the importance of putting together business systems. He spoke about it earlier, where you're putting in a structure that is going to make this business work even in your absence. God forbid you pass on. Have you been able to create systems that this baby can work in your absence? Once I discovered that we were able to do that well with my partner, was Pure, that's when I decided that this is the next thing I'm going to go do. I'm going to go find myself. You must go check out on YouTube, go Google an episode of, I don't remember what that afternoon TV show used to be, but it was first hosted by Osis Azania. And then later on it was hosted by Anele. It's called Real something.
Real Talk on 3.
Real Talk on 3. I think I was 39 years old. I was about to turn 40 or something. Or 38 years old or something like that. I was sitting on Azania's show and she was interviewing me. And I was telling her, oh yeah, I think I'm going to be turning 40 and I'm going on a sabbatical. Those were the times when I kind of felt, okay, cool. We put in so much work that one can now go out there and find himself and go focus on, my family's history. Focus on, being a good father, but also one of us has to be the one that decides to break that generational, I don't want to call it generational curse. And sometimes when you work so hard and you put in all of that work, there are certain things that sadly will have to be compromised. I do wish I could have or would have had more time with my cousins, with my nieces, with family. I haven't been a very good bigger brother. My cousins called me to task. I think it was last year at the family gathering. They were mad at me.
Yeah.
Busiso, you'd been very much away from the family. You haven't been so much involved like we would have expected you to be.
Yeah.
And you do know that now, Bonella, now the elders are gone, most of them. You are now the man of the house. Wu malume wethu, wu putomdala, nasifuna ukuyolobola if anything happens. Ingane zethu noma ikhula nazo kanje ifuna ukuyolobola. You the one, you know. Why haven't you been that involved in the family? And those are some of the things that come with this hustle thing. How do you balance it out?
Yeah.
How are you able to still be that family man, that uncle, that brother, that son, you know, that nephew, that niece to your family? But then when you're on this mission of this generational wealth or generational legacy, or wanting to become that person that breaks that cycle for the family, certain things will suffer. I wish I could have done it better, especially with the family part.
Yeah.
But you are correct. Even I sometimes do think about that. Maybe is it also things of generational traumas that we feel like we have to work, like we're not on this earth to work.
We're not.
But then my other mind reminds me, but you're not working. You're blessed. Everything you're doing is something you love. You know, we just put on microphones, we broadcast. You know, you get on the plane, you go overseas. Not a lot of people enjoy that luxury. You're so blessed that, you know, you're in the position that you're in. I don't know if it answers your question, but that's how best I can be able to paint my situation.
Yeah.
I've got regrets, but I also do know that having to take on that role of breaking that generational curse does come at a high cost at some point.
It's a very difficult question, not just for you, but for everyone, you know, to take stock of what am I doing with my life? What am I sacrificing? What's important? Who am I hurting? Am I living the purpose of the elders that reside within me? You know, I might not be there with the family, but the elders are saying there are people there, it's fine. When I yenza lokhu ekuzobahlula bona. When I hambo ulanda mhlambe umnotho as an example. Hambo uhlala eChina, uye nomnotho, so that your family will hate you. Sometimes your family will hate you, but you are the one that allowed your family to do the great things that they are doing. You went and you became the sacrificial lamb. I had another deep question, and look, this is some of the work I do with individuals, by the way.
Yeah, no, I know, sure.
I realized that to build an amazing world, an amazing continent, an amazing nation, an amazing community, an amazing family, we need to work on ourselves. And then after we work on ourselves, we need to work on our relationships, romantic, family, business, etc. And it's hard work. A lot of us have so much noise. I need to go to work. I'm sitting in traffic. You never get to that really important work that you're doing now. And luckily, you have the privilege. You're unemployed. You don't have to work. You have the privilege of going through this. Other people, it takes a heart attack. It takes a mental breakdown. Going to rehab. It takes a car accident like Kanye West. It takes you losing someone that you love to actually have that moment to be like, hey, what am I actually doing? The tough question I wanted to ask, and again, you don't have to answer it. I guess we're doing this for the squatters and the hustlers to also reflect for themselves. Do you think maybe all your hustles have been all the girls you've been dating till you find the one? The one being maybe something like African spirituality, family, a life beyond money. So you had to date all these girls, have all these businesses, try all these things, travel around the world to actually find home and the beauty of home. Do you think that might be the case where you're maybe now about to find the love of your life? Of which, look, when I'm my ex, TS Records, you might have an ex potentially, no massive metro, which I, no massive, ne TS, these were my exes. I learned a lot from them. Namanje, kona now, or MOFAYA, or this and that. But I think I'm now finding my main woman. Or do you think your main woman, your wife, is actually the hustle? Good, no, I've actually been married from the get. I found the love of my life and it was the hustle. And that's why I'll never divorce her. And this will always be me. I'll always be an ever-changing being and creation. Wherever the hustle takes me, I'm married to it. Or being Jolanje, and I'm actually about to find.
They say family is everything. Out of everything I've experienced, I've seen that nothing is bigger or better than having to spend time with your children, having to spend time with your cousins, your nieces, your nephews, a family gathering. just visiting Ekasi. I've spent a lot of time beginning first quarter of this year with my mother, my grandmother. I've enjoyed just being there with them and just learning so much from them. As I did say, with most of my regrets are having not to have spent enough time with family in the past, but I'm just glad that I'm at this point where I understand that the most important thing out of everything that I've gone through is actually family. There's nothing better out there. You can find all of the money you can find in the world. I've never had all the money in the world, but still out of the little that I've experienced in my life, I understand that family is everything. Family is everything. I guess that's why even when you follow ubukhosi mhlambe bakwaZulu or you follow history in a lot of nations in Africa, or even all over the world, you'll find that kings are always concerned about having a boy child for obvious reasons, right? For procreation. What's the main purpose we're here on earth for? Procreation. You can't procreate by yourself. And you'd like to bring up your offsprings in a family unit with a significant other that shares your ideals and a person that you think you can share this, this life with and you can build with.
Yeah.
And build this amazing family unit with. And yeah, so ultimately I've found that it is family. And that's why lately it's just been about finding oneself. And it's not for me, as I was saying, it's for my kids. Having to know all of this information. And while I'm going through this, I did not pause the hustle.
Sure.
That's why I'm saying I'm retired. So even as I'm living or going through this journey, I'm still, can put on the camera and podcast.
Sure.
Luckily, at least I'm in a privileged position where I've got an audience. I've got a lot of people that follow my work. Yeah. So anytime whether I switch on my phone or I switch on cameras, there's always going to be thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people tuning in. So there's always a consistent audience.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take much. It's not like like wherever I am, we just put on cameras and it's part of just my life.
Sure.
So I don't have to, do something that is outside of my life. It's just what I'm going through. But it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful, man. I know you young guys will encourage you guys to go out there and seek the hustle, go make the money. Don't focus too much on the dating and the girls. Go focus on your purpose. I thank people like Penyo. I thank people like about Dr. Sizu Mpofu. There's another channel I've just bumped into on YouTube lately. They break down South African politics beautifully. Big Daddy Liberty, I think it does.
Hey, Big Daddy Liberty, thank you,
political show. You know him? Great job online. Abantu abanjengabo Nota, abantu abanjengabo Nhlanhla-Lux, abantu abasidinayo, abantu evoke emotions, abantu sometimes vumelana nabo, abantu sometimes criticize, abantu people who force us to be in a position of thinking differently and having to still tolerate one another while we do not agree on our views. And also when they say when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. You'll go through your own journeys at your own time. Don't be online, and then you feel, just go seek knowledge. But when it happens for you at your time and you feel this is the journey or the rabbit hole that you want to go dig deeper in or through, go down that rabbit hole. But it's a rabbit hole that does not end. This one it's the rest of your life. Because once you go through the rabbit hole, then you dig more. The more you find, you dig more. You dig more, you dig more, you dig more. And it just keeps on ushering you into further down and down and down and down and down. So go through that journey whenever you're ready. But what I can encourage you with right now, squatters, hustlers, penuelers, chillers, is go work on yourself. Personal development is the most amazing thing. Go build that relationship noNkulunkulu wakho. Go love your family more, treasure them more, value them more. I do know that it might not make sense when you're 19 or 21 right now, but you might understand what we're talking about when you're in your late 30s or when you're in your 40s. Family is everything. That's why a lot of people, as they're young, They get out of home, they go to varsity, start working, they gravitate towards the city life, the clubbing, the experiencing of life, the chasing the nicer things in life, and just living their life and just living the success and rising up the corporate ladder or building whatever they're building their careers. And as they get older and later on, maybe towards their later years in life, you find a lot of our elders gravitate towards wearing less and less fashion. They gravitate towards driving less and less flashy cars. They gravitate towards moving more and more away from the cities back to the homes, to either buying a farm, to either concentrating on livestock, to either concentrating more on history, on reading books. Others, but they end up batwasa. Others end up just being people who want to stay away from the cities. They want to go back to Emakai, where they were brought up, ultimately up until their later years when they finally pass on. Others would prefer to be buried where their actual parents or their great-grandparents come from. Haven't you wondered why it's like that with a lot of people? Like it's the same over and over. It's because it's the world, it's earth. What it gives birth to at some point, it's going to, when you die, that's why you're going back to the earth. So it's the same cycle of life. That's why you're going to get away, you're going to be given birth, you're going to, the city life isn't those umhlaba, and you'll experience it all. You go through the ups and downs of your life. But then at the later years of your life, you'll be drawn back to nature again, because slowly, you're going towards your dying years where you'll eventually go back to this Mother Earth. It's an interesting analogy, eh?
No, of course.
I love you,
Thank
bro.
you so much.
Thank you.
Some announcements. I think Shama announcement. I just want to say congrats to my nephew, Sipho Mpense, who is the firstborn son of Uputom Dala, Kwamlojwa, Uputsazi Mpense. His firstborn son, Sipho, just graduated at UJ. To Usazi, to Umama Uspiwe, congrats on Umfana, on Sipho. Kubegu push Mfana, and I hope your younger brother, Unkulego, is going to be pushing as well. To my brother Penson, I think he had his first rugby game this past weekend. He's coaching at St. Stithians. In Johannesburg, they were playing against Parktown. We're going to find out how that went when I speak to him. But good luck to the boys at Saints. Good luck with your season. What else? I'm in Cape Town. Monday and Tuesday, I think, is important. I'm in Cape Town. Hopefully, I'm going to be meeting up with some of you guys. Thank you for all your comments. Thank you for all your DMs. Thank you for everyone who takes initiative. People like Okwezi Ndlovu, people like Otibelo. We appreciate you guys. We love you. Thanks to the guys at Add More Digital for coming through today. Stanley and Monde, we appreciate you guys. We're going to meet all of you guys on your campuses. It's going to take time. We have limited time, as you guys heard, and we've got so many different things that we do, but we're going to try. But you guys must join our tribe and help us build and create a better South Africa. The EFF are hosting a national shutdown on the 20th. I think it's next week on the 20th. So we're going to update you guys on that. Like I said, to Babu Sputla, who's the Minister of Electricity, we wish you nothing but the best of luck. I hope I'm not forgetting anything. My announcement. Shout out to my cousin Usihle Makutulela. Shout out to abantu bakwa Rasta, informal settlement at Jimistin. Santanda bafethu, qhubekani nipushe lapho, ningalimazani, santanda bafethu. And one day sizopopa sonke, qhubekani nipush. Santanda.
To add on to what I was saying, the last thing I forgot to add there is, that's the reason why people build back home. Because ultimately, as you get older and eventually you'll have to go back and settle there. What have you built back home where you're from? Congratulations to all the guys from the north. Congratulations, Buntate Moloto Ralebo. You all come to Joburg, but there've just been pictures that have been trending of how you guys are flipping, upgrading your villages in Limpopo. Damn it. Suburbia, it's not even suburbia, like villages in Limpopo.
No, it's insane. I've been there. The houses are better than Santon.
Bruh.
Crazy.
So that's what life is all about. That's why you come to the cities to hustle, but you have to be building back home. You have to be buying imfuyo back home. Even if unethole nyane elincane elilodwa, uyalikhulisa uyalinakekela, it gives birth, and then got khulisa imfuyo. And then we are back home. And as you keep making money or living this life in these cities, you haven't forgotten where you're coming from. So congratulations to the Limpopo guys. You guys are such an incredible example to the whole nation. The pictures that are trending online about how you guys are transforming your villages. You're waking up a lot of people, even in Joburg, all of those brothers and sisters that grew up in the 4-room, that they're no longer looking after anymore because they're staying in Bryanston. I'm sure a lot of them, for those of you who haven't seen Google, I don't know what keywords I can recommend for
Limpopo houses.
them. Yeah,
maybe, or
Limpopo
mansions.
houses. Mansions.
Mansions in Limpopo.
And it's cheaper. I think a lot of us don't know that it's actually cheaper. For a mansion that you can pay for 5 to 10 million here in Joburg, you can build that for yourself for like less than $1 million. Go high. You just get land. You can even get land for like less than 10,000 rands.
Yeah.
You can even get lands for 500 rands in the villages. It's just that I just don't know what is this brainwashing that they've made us all believe that we must all come to the cities. Because just small land, some small square meters, we're paying exorbitant amounts of money.
Of course.
I've just gotten into real estate development and I'm learning it. And I'm like, land in the heart of Sandton is way more expensive than as you go away. Not only just going away to the further parts of Johannesburg, the more away you go back to the Eastern Cape, the KZN, Mpumalanga, Limpopo, Northwest, land is cheap. Go build relationship with the chiefs. Find out some sort of way on how you can get a piece of land. And then as you are hustling in Joburg or online and a little bit of money that you're making, tengi cement, hire some people to help you build back home. Because ultimately, eventually, life takes you back to where you were born. And a lot of people, as they get older, that's where they would prefer to be buried. At least when you're getting into those years, at least you must be like, you know what, at least look at the livestock, look at the yard that you've transformed from nothing, from just land into building something amazing and valuable for the future of your children. I think with that being said, I'll end it here, bro.
Jeez, we've got so much to share, man. There just isn't enough time. I forgot earlier when we were speaking about tech to send a shout out to Amanda Rankholo, who works at Cisco, which is a huge tech company. Miles Berger, who used to work at Microsoft. Some of the opportunities there. A lot of these companies, they tender. You know, when these guys, when Stanley Nomonde was speaking about a project that they were doing, there's tenders there. AWS, Amazon Web Services, go look those up. Go look up Python coding. Java still relevant today. And everyone else, man, shout out to the Kumete family with Kijima. Everyone else who's got a tech startup. The world is ours. The future is ours. Lesego Modise, you know, from Buntu Foods, because he's a huge techie. Pindile Ranuga, huge techie. These are the guys, bro. Thank you so much. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. Like I said, I think in future, I'm going to start writing down all the announcements so that I don't forget. The virtual Mkhukhu, have a great week. We love you.
I have to plug this guy in as well. I just discovered about this guy. I'm like, where have I been living? I've been interviewing entrepreneurs and I've been one of the ambassadors of this entrepreneurship culture for many years. And I just recently got introduced to this brother. And then I started digging in deeper to some of his work, and I just want to give him a plug quickly. I just forgotten his name because I've just gotten introduced to him. I think it was last week or something. He's also a tech founder and a South African tech genius. Don't you know the name? What is this?
I want to give a shout out to Avatar, Zbusiso Mkhwanazi, who's quite amazing as well.
That's my brother. Right?
But yeah, we're going to have to shut it. We can keep speaking. The production at the back is telling us to shut it down, but we love you guys, man. Maybe we'll put in the comments anyone else you want to shout out to in the comments. We love you. So guys, go check out Virtual Mkhukhu, the episode next door with Nota. We're about to record it now. I'll say it there on that episode. I have to mention this brother's name because I started finding out about him. I'm like, yo, there's a chance of paying you a longer part. Yo, there's tech billionaires, bro. Black. Yes, in this country.
Black, young guys. Yeah. I'm like, yo, there's a chance almost. So congrats.
No, we're out. We're out.
Add more digital. Tshimologong, Bramfontein.
Cheers.